Imagine waking not to bird song, but to the pungent stench of garbage, urine, and sweat. Thousands of souls crammed into claustrophobic tenements, their desperation thick in the air. Feel the ground beneath your feet vibrate, not with promise, but with horse hooves and creaking carts. The deafening cacophony of a human babble assaults your ears from every direction. Suddenly, a piercing cry of cholera echoes from the alleyway next door, chilling you to the bone. You realize the very air you breathe is a deadly cocktail of soot, disease, and raw despair. You, my friend, have just been born into 19th century New York City. And trust me, it's nothing like the romanticized, gilded images you might have seen in movies. Prepare yourself, because this city of dreams was, for countless souls, an unrelenting nightmare. Welcome to a past you'll be profoundly grateful not to be a part of. Your first day on this earth unfolds not in a plush crib, but a cramped, damp tenement room. Sunlight dares not enter, replaced by the flickering gloom of a single sputtering candle. Your mother, barely recovered from childbirth, breathes the same putrid air as you. The nauseating aroma of human waste, coal smoke, and damp mold assails your tiny nostrils. Your first home is a small space in an overcrowded building shared with multiple families. If you're lucky, one communal toilet serves an entire floor, a dubious luxury. Often the only latrine is a privy in the backyard, overflowing and attracting vermin. Your yard isn't green grass, it's an open cesspool, an urban jungle of filth. Welcome to the world, little one, and to the unfiltered, harsh reality of Gotham. It's a rude awakening to a life where comfort is a distant, unattainable dream. Childhood? That word, in this era, feels like a cruel, twisted joke designed for the wealthy. Before you can even properly learn to read, your hands are already calloused, working. You might be pushing heavy carts at the bustling docks, barely tall enough to see over them. Or perhaps you're scaling perilous chimneys, inhaling soot with every desperate gasp for air. Selling newspapers in biting snow or torrential rain becomes your daily, relentless grind. Operating dangerous, unforgiving machinery in a shadowy, deafening factory is your fate. Playtime is a luxury exclusively for the children of the city's burgeoning elite. For you, each new day is a brutal, exhausting battle purely for sheer survival. The unforgiving street is your only school, teaching harsh lessons on finding scraps of food. It's also where you learn to evade the myriad dangers lurking around every grimy corner. Forget the minor inconvenience of a seasonal flu. That's a modern luxury for future generations. Here, every single sneeze or innocent cough can be the terrifying harbinger of a sweeping epidemic. Cholera, typhoid, tuberculosis, smallpox. These aren't just names in history books. They are the whispered terrors, silent reapers claiming lives with chilling efficiency and speed. The water you drink, drawn from contaminated wells, is often a muddy, murky brew. Your very streets double as open sewers, a festering ground for countless deadly pathogens. Basic hygiene, a simple soap and clean water, is an unimaginable luxury for most. A seemingly trivial cut can quickly fester into gangrene, turning minor injury into catastrophe. A sudden fever, dismissed in gentler times, is often a swift, undeniable death sentence. Each glass of polluted water you consume could, quite literally, be your very last sip. Your hands, rough and calloused, are your sole capital in this relentless, unforgiving city. Every single day they are relentlessly ground down by the unyielding, crushing routine. Long, back-breaking hours under harsh conditions are your immutable reality, a constant companion. Unsanitary workplaces teeming with dust and danger are considered the grim norm. Your pay? Miserable, barely enough to stave off starvation for another precious day. You toil from dawn till dusk, whether in deafening textile mills or glowing, dangerous foundries. Hauling heavy cargo at the bustling, chaotic ports defines your existence, your muscles screaming. One single day of illness means no wages, a terrifying thought that plagues your every waking hour. A day without pay can swiftly escalate into agonizing hunger for your entire family. Your body is merely a tool, to be used and exploited until it utterly collapses from exhaustion. The streets here aren't merely dirty and disease-ridden, they are overtly, perilously dangerous. Gangs like the notorious Dead Rabbits or the swaggering Bowery Boys are not urban legends. They are a visceral, ever-present reality, carving out their territories with brute force. Violence is an endemic disease, fueled by crushing poverty, fierce territorial rivalries, and rampant ethnic hatred. Being an immigrant here, seeking a new life, often feels like a capital offense in some eyes. A simple, misjudged stroll through the wrong, dimly lit neighborhood could easily cost you your very life. The city's police force, often overwhelmed, is, at best, utterly ineffective in its duties. At worst, they are just as corrupt, if not more so, than the criminals they're supposed to apprehend. Law and order are often mere suggestions, bending to the will of the strongest or most ruthless. Navigating this labyrinthine urban jungle requires a sharp wit and even sharper survival instincts. Ah, politics. Amidst this churning chaos, a formidable force emerged: Tammany Hall. This powerful political machine held New York City firmly within its iron grip. Led by infamous boss Tweed, they were the city's self-appointed shadowy benefactors. They offered a plate of thin soup, a meager job, or a lump of coal in exchange for your precious vote. In essence, they demanded your soul, or at least your political allegiance, in return. Democracy, in this context, was a carefully orchestrated game of cynical manipulation. Corruption wasn't an anomaly. It was the fundamental unspoken rule of engagement. You, the common citizen, were nothing more than an expendable pawn on their vast political chessboard. Your dignity was a small price to pay for a temporary reprieve from gnawing hunger. It was a Faustian bargain, trading your future for a fleeting moment of basic sustenance. But wait, it wasn't all misery and despair. Far from it, if you knew where to look. Just a few short miles from your fetid, overcrowded tenement, another world thrived. The Astors and Vanderbilts, the titans of the Gilded Age, threw lavish, opulent balls. They imported exquisite European furniture and constructed sprawling mansions, rivaling palaces. While you might be slowly starving, they feasted on elaborate 8-course dinners. Their desserts alone often cost more than your entire year's paltry wages combined. The air in their ballrooms shimmered with wealth, a stark contrast to your damp, dark hovel. The line separating this obscene opulence from abject poverty wasn't merely thin. It was an enormous, yawning chasm, a social Grand Canyon separating two worlds. It was a bitter, ironic tableau of human existence, playing out on the same city stage. The city, despite its gritty underbelly, was indeed slowly, grudgingly evolving. Gas lamps began to cast a warm, if limited, glow over certain avenues after dusk. Naturally, these illuminated thoroughfares were exclusively in the city's more affluent districts. Horse-drawn streetcars clattered through the streets, a nascent form of public transport. However, they remained an exclusive luxury, utterly out of reach for the working poor like you. Central Park, a verdant oasis, began to take shape, a testament to urban planning. Yet this magnificent green space wasn't truly designed for you, the common man. It was primarily for the elite, who could afford leisurely carriage rides through its promenades. While they enjoyed its splendor, you, poor soul, had the filthy, rubbish-strewn tenement ground. A small patch of dirt to sit on, if you were fortunate enough to even find that space. Amidst all this relentless chaos and suffocating hardship, you discover an inner, enduring strength. Within the tightly knit communities of immigrants, solidarity isn't just a word, it's a lifeline. It's a rare and precious currency, exchanged in moments of shared desperation and kindness. You find a sense of family, unexpected and profound, in the most unlikely of places. You learn to share the meager few things you possess, knowing tomorrow could be worse. Yet for the vast majority of your life, this battle for survival remains a deeply solitary one. Each new dawn brings with it the same gnawing, existential question echoing in your mind. How am I going to endure this day? How will I manage to survive the coming hours? Hope, when it appears, is a flickering, fragile flame against an overwhelming darkness. It's a testament to the unyielding human spirit, refusing to be entirely extinguished. You draw a deep, ragged breath, and the air remains heavy with dust, soot, and acrid smoke. It's a bittersweet concoction of progress, intermingled with the ever-present stench of refuse. Your bones ache, a dull, persistent throb from countless years of grinding labor and hardship. Perhaps you miraculously evaded the clutches of cholera or the knives in the dark alleys. But the city has undeniably left its indelible mark upon your weary, toughened soul. It has forged you in its relentless crucible, ground you down, and then spat you back out. A hardened survivor, yes, but one whose spirit is indelibly scarred by its brutal embrace. New York, the city of dreams. For so many, it was a waking, unending nightmare. An enormous human meat grinder that, ironically, forged the very metropolis it became. Your life, a testament to resilience, a quiet scream against overwhelming odds. So the next time you find yourself complaining about the infernal traffic in Times Square, or maybe the ridiculously steep price of your artisanal coffee, or that annoyingly loud neighbor of yours, just take a moment to remember, at least you're not dodging horse-drawn carriages in a putrid puddle. A puddle of vomit, refuse, and general human indignity. You likely have running water and won't catch typhoid just by taking a sip from a contaminated corner well. Goodness, aren't you glad you weren't born in 19th century New York, huh? I'd say your current life, despite its modern woes, is an absolute unadulterated luxury. So what did you think of this grim yet utterly fascinating journey back into urban hell? What was the most shocking part that truly made you grateful for living in the 21st century? Let us know in the comments below. We absolutely love hearing your thoughts and reactions. If you enjoyed this dive into the past, please don't forget to hit that like button. Subscribe to the channel for more impactful, dramatic, and sometimes darkly humorous historical stories. And share this video with your friends so they too can appreciate their modern conveniences. Until our next plunge into a not-so-glorious past, stay safe out there.